Welcome to Alion's Joy. My name is Elion Haan. I'm glad to be here today in this episode. We're going to talk a little bit about putting up emotional walls and vulnerability. Have you ever felt that you are putting up an emotional wall? Or maybe you feel that you're keeping it all inside and together and you're keeping everybody out. You're just loading up with emotions and feelings that you cannot really address, right? We're talking about these emotional walls today, how we build them and how they block us, and what it means really to let people in and to let somebody in. If you've been strong for a long time and maybe it's try to, and sometimes you feel that you have to be even braver, maybe it's time to do the opposite and explore being vulnerable. My name is Eliane. I'm a life coach and executive coach, and I talk about this a lot. And also because this is a very good topic for me because I did that. I was holding a lot inside in my earlier years, and I was not really into understanding or exploring my own feelings and emotions, and I kind of kept it inside and built up walls for people, not to allow people to really get to know me and really love me, like we always say, for who I am. So in that sense, I didn't really share. I thought that you just kind of have to move through pain and not pay attention to it, but move forward and be strong at all times. And I have learned that that will catch up with you later in life. It will definitely come back, right? Emotional walls are in place to protect, absolutely. So we build emotional walls to survive that pain, to survive betrayal. I can't talk. So I recognize that absolutely. Or trauma, of course, like in my earlier years when I was younger, I definitely kind of move through that and move forwards and keep going. But those walls often block the very connection and the loved ones we care about, right? The love that we deeply crave. We block that. We block that love that we deeply crave with others. We are not able to really sustain relationships. We don't really let people in and get them have them give them the ability to get to know us, right? So what once kept us from being safe is exactly what now is keeping us stuck. And sometimes in my work, we call that trauma responses, right? We call that somatic responses. There might even be something physical that comes back and ongoing pain, ongoing issues in your tissues, as we call that, an ongoing discomfort. It sometimes manifests in your body as well, all the things that you're keeping inside. And then it was always, to me in the past, I had this feeling that vulnerability was really a sign of weakness, right? I didn't know it was the opposite. I didn't know it was actually a superpower. I was looking at vulnerability as being weak. So it's not the truth. And being open about fears and being open about needs and wants and struggles doesn't really make you fragile. It makes you real. It makes you a real, approachable person. Yes. And that way, if you are real and if people get to know your flaws, your great sides, your awesomeness, but also the things that you might be scared of, or the things that you have suffered through, or the things that were bothering you, then there's really that relatability factor, right? Then you can really let people in because it's you. It is me. The things that I've been going through made me who I am right now. And I had to let go of that shame and guilt, maybe being judged by people, the way they saw me, the way they saw my flaws. I thought, that's not so good, right? You can't show that to people. And now I understand that this makes you real. So vulnerability is not a weakness. It is a superpower. And it's good to step into it and get to know yourself as well. And you cannot just do that selectively either, right? That doesn't work. That's why I work with so many clients that come to me to work through their trauma and pain and try to address it with real feelings, with real names for those feelings and emotions that you are experiencing inside. When you block that pain and that sadness and you block it out and you don't talk about it, you're also numb for joy and for creativity and for passion. It just kind of makes you numb. A true aliveness inside comes from feeling this full range of motion and understanding your emotions, understanding where you're at, and not just the ones that make you think, well, this is maybe acceptable and the rest is not. So the fear, right, that we display sometimes to open up to others, and that wall that we're putting up, it's emotional wall, most of the time, often, really often, it is just a lie. Because we tell ourselves, if they know the real me, they'll probably leave. They'll be disappointed in the real me. They'll be disappointed in the fact that I had these scares, that I had these pains, that I was suffering, that I didn't like it, that I was not in a happy place. And maybe people rather see me only in a happy place and only in a joyful place. And if they see my weakness, if they know the real me, then they'll probably leave. They'll probably don't want to stay in our friendship, in our relationship. And that is usually also the opposite. The opposite is exactly what attracts people to you. The truth is that being authentic attracts. Being authentic, being yourself, being real, being fully into those days that you're not all there, being fully imperfect, right? Being perfectly imperfect, I always say. Being just yourself and being able to say no some days and being able to say yes the next day. That will that will make you really more authentic. And that will draw you closer to other people and other people closer to you. So healing usually starts with just being bold, as we say in our group Bree Talks. In our group Bree Talks, we talk about being bold and being real and having an impact on others by telling the truth and by working through your shame and guilt. That healing that just starts with one single brave share. And when you start that and you see that other people love you for that share and do not leave you because you told them, then you just, you feel a little bit better. You don't have to bulldozer that wall down all at once, but you just start sharing about the past, about recent things that happened to you, about events and circumstances in your life that made you feel vulnerable, that made you feel weak, that made you feel in pain, that it was traumatic, it made you feel terrible. And it just maybe lasted a long time. But once you start sharing that, even if it was something in the past that you never told somebody, once you start sharing that, you feel that people will open up to you and love you for just being you. Right? It starts sometimes with one person, with one honest moment. It's just like vulnerability is like a muscle. Like I always talk about working it out, and same with your brain, right? You got to work it, work it. And vulnerability is a muscle like that. Every time you use it, you reclaim a little piece of your authentic self and of being true, real, and honest. So if you're living behind that wall, then maybe this is just after years the time to let it go a little bit, right? I hope it can, and I make that hopefully true to you, right? If you feel that you've been staying there for so long, then know that it's not ever too late to let that light in. Just start with that small step, one conversation again with somebody that you can trust. And I've even had clients in the past that said, yeah, but I really have problem with trust due to my recent experiences. I can't really trust people. And then I say, always look for people that are trustworthy. It's a difference, right? You don't have to throw yourself into relationships with people that you think you can trust. But if there's people around you that have the right approach, that feel safe, that might be trustworthy, that might be even in and out of your life, right? I know that I remember having storytelling with people and sharing with people that I knew that were in my life for a short amount of time. Maybe it was a retreat that I remember really sharing at a retreat with a lot of women, right? And then afterwards, not being able to see them again. I know I stay in touch with them. But really that feeling that I could share and that I got sympathy and empathy, that I got understanding around me, that I got embraced, that I had a circle of people that loved me for it. That was such an empowering feeling. Sometimes if you're just ready to open up, I invite you to just take that first step to do that with somebody. Because everybody's story matters. You have a legacy, and that legacy is your unique story, is your unique self. What you did with it, how you helped others, and how you still can help others by sharing, right? It's really important what you did with your life. It made you strong. It made you maybe grow. Maybe it was a big part of your self-development, of your self-mastery, standing in your life due to process, due to trauma, due to the things that you had to go through and that you had to live through. But if you never shared it, you're not able to help somebody else with it either, right? If we experience trauma, then we build these walls again, right? And we think, okay, we're just going to get over it. We're just going to go move through. But it might even come back years later. And you didn't even understand that. It might be sudden anger, a sudden really eruption and explosions of emotions that you don't recognize, right? That are coming out of the defense mechanism, that are coming out of that deep system. And all of a sudden you feel full of anger or rage, or you feel defensive, or you feel that you need to have to protect everything. You feel that you can't trust anymore as a part of it. And sometimes hyperactivity is a really a development that might come out of building up defensive walls and not talking about your pain in your past. And all of a sudden you're real hyperactive and you're just doing all kind of things to hide your true emotions, to hide your true feelings. Sometimes we don't recognize that. And then of course, sometimes we don't know that when we have tremendous big meltdowns, when we're just overloaded by stress and anxiety and we're just overwhelmed and we feel those meltdowns, it might come because we never let it out. We never shared it. We never unloaded, right? And we still have so much insight. So if you're experiencing that feeling that you're up to here sometimes and you don't know what to do, sometimes I say even to my clients, not just even starting that small conversation with a stranger or a small conversation in a trustworthy group or just somebody passing in your life. But sometimes, even if you're not ready for that, start journaling and start writing things down. Because taking it out of your mind and out of your body and putting it on paper is a really big step forwards. It makes you feel that you are unloading and that you're able to find words and experience emotions and write them down, put them on paper. Journaling is a great way to do so. I hope that helps a little bit because it's not healthy to keep inside what you're really, really experiencing, what is really building up, what you are really shameful about, right? That is just really holding us back, especially when it's about shame and guilt. It really holds us back. And of course, we have to unload at some point in vulnerable relationships, right? We have to become vulnerable in relationships because that's one of the other things that if you're with somebody, then at some point we have to establish a trust, some form of a trust in a relationship. And that is really important because if it comes at you later, how are you going to explain that you never shared that? Even if you were so ashamed about it or you were feeling guilty about it, it comes back too late and it might just be very disruptive for the relationship. But if you do so, it creates a trustworthy relationship. It creates empathy and understanding. It is amazing for your personal growth. And you just become better at it, overcoming challenges by sharing your pain and your experience with others. Vulnerability is a sign of strength. Absolutely. So let's reduce that stress together and let's go forward. If you don't know where to start, please reach out to me. I'm always there to help, elianhaan.net. Just find my website and reach out and ask questions. And even if you just want to have one complimentary conversation, about what you're so scared about, what you're holding back, what you never dare to tell anybody. Please do come forward and just trust, or find me hopefully trustworthy to share it with. And then from there on, I can give you some ideas about how to start sharing with others. Because we're all the same, basically. I mean, I said we're all unique, very much so. Yes, and everybody has their own story, but we're the same in needing to be understood and needing to be loved. We all have those same belonging basic needs, right? And that makes you really stronger if you are able to share. So I hope you do reach out. It was great to see you today. It was great to be with you today. Make it an amazing day, as I always say. Make it an amazing day. Namaste. I will see you next week. Thank you for being with me today.